Hello and welcome to the first episode of our new podcast, the Financial Freeman podcast.
Yeah, why are you putting that voice on?
Well, it's the first episode. You've got to be excited, no?
Woo.
That's it. Get into that spirit. Right, so my name's Gary Freeman.
My name's Roni Freeman. I am an artist, a property developer, and a mother to two girls, one who is 6, Bobby, and 3-year-old called Brody.
And I'm Ronnie's slightly less equal other half. Hopefully also the father of the two children. And I was a corporate lawyer for about almost 10 years. And now I'm not. I gave it all up so I could be a good husband.
Yeah,
And
I'm not enticing.
Yeah, and concentrate on our sort of property careers, property journey, and other various different investments, including this, the Financial Freeman empire. Can we call it? We can't call it an empire yet, can we?
It's a podcast.
It's just a podcast, slash a video YouTube station, and whatever else. But it's all things. Everything's got to start somewhere. So what is financial freedom? Do you know?
Is it different things to different people?
That's just so abstract. You say that about anything. Like, come on.
Is a rose a rose?
Is a rose a rose? No, right, no. Financial freedom. So the way I see it, and people probably disagree, is that it's having enough money so that you're basically not bound to do a set job for the rest of your life that you don't want to do. You're free. You're financially free. So your money might, your money might be a huge part, or it might just be a recurring part, but it sets you up for the rest of your life. So money's no longer a factor for how you go about living your day-to-day life in terms of the money you bring in. That doesn't mean you can go out and buy, super yachts, etc. But it's just enough that you can live your life how you want to live it.
Okay, sounds good. I'm in.
Yeah, you're in? Right, good. Because that's what we're on a journey to achieve, for not just obviously for us, but for all our viewers and followers. And I think we need to break it down a bit before we do that. So I think the first thing we need to talk about is how much money do you need. So this is not, as I said, this is not so you can go out and buy your super yacht, although hopefully in time that will come. This is so you can live the life that you're living kind of at the moment, maybe a bit more, but let's focus first on what you're living at the moment. So
how much money do you need?
You got to go through your bank statements and other various bits and bobs, wherever you spend money on, and essentially just work out how much you spend.
What about COVID?
Yes, I'd sort of forget about that for now. I'd work out what your life used to be like. You might have made some wholesale changes, so that will obviously play a big factor sort of going forward. But have an idea of what you might be doing in a year's, 2 years, 3 years time. What kind of level of expenditure you're sort of looking to get to, or where you would get to if you sort of carried on your normal job. And that really is your part, and you probably need a bit for sort of rainy day fund, etc. But have that sort of figure in mind, that each month you want to be earning X. And one thing I've always done is just had in mind that the salary figure. So after I'd given whatever to tax and to the pension pot, is what figure was going in my bank account, and that to me was sort of the figure I was, we were living off that. So what was that figure? And that was the sort of the target figure that we wanted to sort of bring in terms of other income.
Yes.
So that's your first step, is working out your costs, and then your next sort of stage is how you're going to build up a pot of money that.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah, go on.
You haven't done story of the week.
Oh, story of the week. Right, story of the week. Okay. All right, let's go back to story of the week. In future,
rewind.
In future, we're not going to edit it out. But in future, all stories of the week will be first, because
unless we forget.
Which again, it probably might happen. So
and now,
stories of the week will come in the middle of the most important sentence of the whole podcast. Okay, so let's remember where we are. Right, story of the week is about an Argentinian fella.
Argentina.
Called, I need to do my notes for this. I forgot his name. Right, Nicolas Caruna from Buenos Aires, which is
not to be mispronounced as Corona.
No, very similar. Oh, actually, it is. No, maybe. Yeah, Corona. Oh, okay. You could easily mispronounce.
Could
Right.
easily be pronounced.
Yeah, I could see how you could say that. Right. So he was. He's a chap from Buenos Aires who got a message from his buddies on a few WhatsApp messages that said Google's down. What we're gonna do? What do you think he did?
He tried to use Yahoo.
No one uses Yahoo. That's just crazy talk.
Loop-de-loop.
No, it's just and also that's not going to get him any money just using Yahoo. He did something far savvier than that. Any ideas? No, I don't expect you to guess, to be honest. Right, he went on to domain registry. Domains like basically all the www.google.com, okay, but in this case he went on to whatever it was where you needed to buy the domain name. You can buy domain names for everything, okay. So he went on and he saw that www.google.com.ar was for sale, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, it is. Yeah.
I don't understand.
No. Well, exactly, because you'd think that they'd have sort of great processes in place, but anyway, it was there, and it was 270 pesos. All right. Guess the amount in pounds.
Don't know.
£2.09 to buy Google in Argentina. So
Bargain.
Absolutely bargain,
Steal.
because this was going to make him millions, and so he did it, and he owned Google. But Google fought back, as the big corporations tend to do, and they said, nope, it shouldn't have been up for renewal. It's ours anyway. And unfortunately, Mr. Corona got Google taken away from him, and his £2.09 that wasn't even refunded.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah, or whatever the Spanish is, puta, I think it is. I don't know if we have to edit that or not. No, we'll keep that in. Right, so he does that, but actually he's sent a tweet about all of this, and that went out to I think about 80,000 people. So he's got a big following, and
wow.
maybe he'll make some money off the back of all that.
Next time Google's down, the domain site's going to be flooded.
Crazy. All our listeners will be all over it. So yeah, that'll be just Nicholas Corona for you. So where were we? Right, we're in the middle of the big sentence. Do you remember?
Yes.
No, go on. Yeah, we were talking about, right, so you've saved your money, or you've saved, you've worked out what you need to, you've worked out how much money you need to going forward to be financially free, okay? So you now need to do you're yawning there. Keep me awake, sorry. Right, the first thing you need to do is
I was trying to stifle
work out how much you need to, how you're going to go about saving that money. That's the key, because you need to save some money as an investment pot, and whether that investment is through property or shares or new business and all these kind of things. Obviously, we'll talk in lots more depth in episodes to come. But how are you going to get that money? What are you going to do?
Take your sandwiches to work.
So that's kind of the first. That is the first one on my list,
Step one.
which is no, and it's not necessarily the sandwich point, but it's basically called delayed gratification. What you've just said. So you kind of got it on a first go, which is great, and that really just means that instead of going out and buying your sandwich now, and obviously everyone's working from home at the moment, but they won't be in time to come. You say, right, do I need to go out and buy my sandwich today? Do I need to spend a £5 then? Could I make them at home, spend 50p, whatever? And that £4.50, put in the pot, and there you go. Happy days. The same with the coffee, and soon you could start saving, a tenner a day. And it's delayed gratification, so you're not having the gratification of that sandwich today, but in future that £10 could turn into lots in the future, and you'll get a lot more gratification in the time to come. Make sense?
Yes.
So it sounds a bit painful, because obviously you want your sandwich today, but you might get 2 sandwiches tomorrow. But just don't eat too much bread.
Well, not tomorrow. A few years down the line.
Yeah, okay, give it a bit of time to grow.
Lose a bit of weight.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple more sort of simple things we want to touch on in this episode. And obviously there's loads of things you can do, but we just want to sort of get out the basics first, and then we'll go on to other things in the future. Second thing is paying off high interest credit cards. Does that make sense?
High interest credit cards, bad.
Yeah, very bad. If you're paying off, say, 20% a year interest, it's an awful lot. Your debt keeps spiraling, and if you can't, it gets to a stage whereby it's really hard to keep paying off that interest, and you start defaulting, and really bad things can happen. So even if you are keeping up to date, there's probably better ways you can do to sort of not do that, as in just switching your credit card, which is usually fairly easy to do. And because if you're saving, if you're spending 20%, right, then you're never going to make a guaranteed investment of say 20%. So you'll always be down. So there's no point spending first of all your 20% and putting the 5% in the stock, putting the rest in the stock market that's only your 5%, because it's not very good, is it? Being 15% down. So yeah, look to see if you've got any kind of longer term debt, and that's paying high rates, and pay it off. So yeah, we've discussed credit cards, we've discussed sandwiches, and coffee. What's left? Yeah, well, I think the next thing is, and it's the main thing I wanted to say is that you might need to take a bit of a risk with all of this. So the moment you're sort of living, you're living a life, and it might all be going, fine, but you might all be moaning the whole time. You might be saying, "Oh, I want to get out," and all the rest of it, and you're not going to just be able to just do that unless you take what's a bit of a risk. Now, there's an argument about whether it is such a big risk, and hopefully if you get educated, it won't be. But just for now, you need to have in the back of your head that if you don't roll the dice, then you can't win the game.
What a quote. Great
quote. That's going to make us famous, that
by
quote.
The man himself.
Yeah, thanks. So that's kind of, that's keep that in the back of your head. So, is that if you want to achieve something more, and you might not, you might be very happy, in which case probably don't listen to the next episode. But if there is something you just kind of want to change in your financial world, then you may well have to take a bit of a gamble, a bit of a chance. Let's not call it a gamble, shall we? Let's call it let's just roll the dice anyway. I think that's kind of all I had in terms of headline points for now. Is there anything else that?
So once you've saved your money,
once you've worked out how much money you need to save,
right, and you start
to be now financially free, then you start building up an investment pot, which you can then turn into bigger sums, and we'll talk about the bigger sums down the line. But you need to work out how you're going to start saving on a regular basis, and so the ways you can start saving straight away. This is day one, without any financial education. There's go and Google how to switch credit card debt, but it's very, very simple to do. Same with not going out and buying your sandwich. Put your tuna on your bread and wrap it up, and that's your sandwich. These are really
it's like a cooking vlog now.
Well, it is, yeah. And these are really
put some mayo on as well,
and then roll the dice. And so these are these are easy steps that basically anyone can do to build up a pot. And you can go from sort of scrabbling around, sort of finding the pennies at the end of the month, to actually having something aside. There's all the new banks you can, like modern day banks, you can split some of your investment pot, some of your pot from your salary, so 10% something gets siphoned away. I'd recommend something like that.
What?
So if you've got a salary of whatever, £1,000 a month, you can do something on all these new great banks and their apps, and they'll take 10% to a separate pot. Oh. So you can't spend that the £100. Yeah, they don't steal it, but it just goes into a separate little system.
Savings pot.
Yeah, exactly. And this is really, if you're not that disciplined or you're not used to doing something like this, it's just a very, very good way of seeing that it's separate, and you can dip back in, as you say. They're not taking it from you, but you have to make a conscious decision of that. So this is just a way of getting you to think about how you're building up that pot, which is going to turn it into a bigger pot, hopefully, once you've listened to our future episodes. So
great. That's it for today. Is that it for today?
That's it for today. So how can they follow us? And
they should leave us a 5-star review. They should definitely hit subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Oh, it's not 5-star review, it's a like on YouTube.
Like, yeah.
And yeah, we'll be posting weekly updates on YouTube. If you type in Financial Freeman to Facebook, where else?
Yeah, that's it. And then from there, there's a link to a WhatsApp group as well. that's it.
Great. Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.